Hi all, today I'm going to talk about how to teach for loop in Python. So first of all, what you have to understand is a lot of students don't know the meaning of loop. So you need to make sure that you are explaining the term loop before we talk about for loop. So what is a loop? A shape produced by a curve that bends round and crosses itself. That's a loop. That means you start from a position and it crosses over. Okay. So how is it related to programming? In programming, most of the time it is just a straight line. Okay, if you don't have a loop inside the particular programming language, so you have the executions happening from 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this. It will keep on executing. Okay, and Python is an interpreted language, so line by line line by line it gets executed. So here what happens is it has to go back to somewhere it has already executed. So that's the idea here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and then again it is going back. So that's a loop. So why it is called a loop? Because it is the execution is going back to a position where it is already executed. That's why it is called a loop. Okay, so you have to ask now, when you are asking the student, you have to ask one or two students to explain what is a loop. Then they will think, okay, this is a loop, and then that's why it's called a for loop and things like that. And then you can ask another thing: when do you need to do things like this? When do you have to go back to the same position? Okay, you've done something and then you have to go back. Okay, don't tell them what is repetition or these things in the initial stages. Ask them this particular question. So one or two students might answer saying that, okay, I have done this but I want to repeat it again. So what is an example? For example, let's assume that I want to keep these books. I want to repeat this. I want to give these books to all the students in the class. Okay, so how do I give it? Okay, I took one book and then I gave it to somebody, and then again I'm coming back here and then doing it. So what is happening? There are cases where you have to go back where you have started and then do it, right? So that's the same case with the computer also. If at all there is a case where you have to go back and execute something, then you can use a loop. Okay, now loop is clear. Now we are coming to for. So we are talking about for loop. So what is the basic condition is said that there is something happening, it has to go back and then execute again. Okay, there are two things which the students should be very clear after you take the class for loop. One is there is a variable involved in it, and then the variable is changing. Okay, and the first point is how many times the variable is changing. So I'm taking this as first point, even though there are 2 points, variable and how many times it is changing. It has 1 point. That means you have something called an X in the for loop. Okay, so this has to be clear for the student. And the second thing is there's a block of code. Okay, so this block of code is, now in this case we have only print X. So when you're teaching, make sure that you don't confuse these two things to the students. That means, like, if you have so many other things, print, let's say X plus ABC something. Okay, so don't teach this together. Focus only on this particular thing first. That means what is a variable and how many times it is getting executed. So this should be clear. So if you ask the student, like, let's say, take an example, fruits equal to apple, banana and cherry. Okay, and ask the student for X in fruits, how many times this will be executed. Okay, so the answer is, it depends upon how many things are there in this particular list. Okay, and it can be anything. Okay, the point is this X will take the value of apple first and then banana and then cherry. That's why I'm telling, in the for loop there is a variable which changes. So what is it changes? This is the X. Okay, and then we already talked about that, it will come back to a particular position. So here what happens, it will print apple first and then it will come back to this position, and then it will print banana and it will print cherry. Okay, and it is always good that you conduct even the theory session in the lab. If it is not possible, make sure that you ask them to write it down. Okay, so I know that might stretch some time extra, but it will be worth doing this particular effort. So the students understood that, okay, this is a variable, that variable changes here as apple, banana and cherry, and then it gets printed. Once this is clear, then you can go back and talk about block of code. So the question is, there are two things which you have to ask the student: how many times this will get executed and what is the variable here. So now next question is, can I use any name here? Yes, you can. So it is a variable. So ask the student to use another variable here, okay, and maybe there's some name, for example, you can say that, okay, fruits in apple, I mean fruits, apple, banana and cherry are there, so instead of X shall I use fruit? So if you use fruit, it will be more meaningful for the student. So for fruit in fruits, print fruit. Okay, so the student will clearly understand that this is a variable and this variable is taking this particular names. Okay, and after that you can ask the student, so now I am executing this particular one here, right? I have only one statement. What happens if I add multiple statements here? Okay, what will be the value of this value of this variable inside this for loop? So students will definitely answer it is first iteration it is apple, and second iteration is banana, and third iteration is it is cherry. Okay, and let's assume you have more let's say we want to add a sum here. Okay, first number plus second number, so you can ask them how many times it will be executed. Okay, so when you're asking them, a lot of people will not understand this particular thing, so that time you can ask about, this is a block of code. If you are putting it under for loop, and it will, this is if it is 1 2 3, so it will execute the whole thing will get executed again. You can say that particular thing to the student. Okay, so the idea of teaching for loop is like this. And if you have any comments or suggestions on if there is a better method that you think, you can put it in the comment section. Okay, so I'm repeating it again. So when you are teaching any concept in programming, first you need to explain the terms, for example loop, what is a loop in the real world, and then take it into the map it towards the inside the programming language, and take an example which is very relevant for their day-to-day activities. For example, I talked about distributing the books, or maybe you can take another example of bringing chair from one room to the other room. So because you took a chair, you brought it here, and then you're going back and then bringing the chair back again. Okay, and another chair again, so things like that. Okay, so and then when you talk about the for loop, these are the 2 points which should be very clear to the student. One is a variable that keeps changing, and how many times it is executed. Whatever times you are giving here, this has to have a number when you're using a for loop. Okay, so this particular number, that is the number of times this particular loop will get executed. And then once it is clear for the student, you can talk about block of things. So they are clear about variable, number of times it is getting executed, and then what will be the value of this each in the each iteration, and then you can have a block of code. So it's not only that you can execute only one, but you can have multiple things running under this. And you can also say that, can we have another loop under it? Definitely yes. Okay, thank you very much.